Hey, what's going on, my friends? In this video, we are going to talk about budgeting. Money management is so important, especially for all of you self-employed, you sole proprietors. I mean, it's important for everyone, but if you're trying to grow your own business or expand that side hustle and take it to the next level, you definitely want to have your budgeting down. Money management is so critical. In this video, we're going to just dive into what is budgeting, why you need to budget, explore a few different strategies, things like the 5-20-30 rule, the envelope system, another idea or two that might help you guys with budgeting and with improving your financial situation. But of course, before we jump into these articles, don't forget to like this video. It does help with the YouTube algorithm. And it also shows me you guys appreciate the time and energy I put into the research and creating these videos. After that, hit the subscribe button and then hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date on our latest video content. So as you can see, what is budgeting? A budget is a plan you write down to decide how you will spend your money each month. A budget helps you make sure you'll have enough money every month. Without a budget, you might run out of money before your next paycheck. Budget shows you how much money you make and how you spend your money. So why do I want budget? Well, a budget helps you decide what you must spend your money on, and if you can spend less money on some things and more money on other things. For example, your budget might show that you spend $100 on clothes every month. You might decide to spend $50 on clothes. You can use the rest of the money to pay bills and to save for something else. So as we shift to the John Hancock article I have pulled up here, Budgeting 101, debunking the 50-20 rule, I wanted to make sure you guys know about some of these strategies, some of these approaches that you can take when it comes to budgeting. I believe it's probably gonna be nearly impossible for you to start and grow your own business if you don't have some of the fundamental financial literacy principles down, such as budgeting. You need to know how to budget, or at least what budgeting is. And yeah, maybe you build out a team and you have someone on your team that's taking care of these aspects of your business, your financial accounting and whatnot. Well, they'll know what budgeting is. Whoever is going to be responsible for the money and whatnot, essentially, and I believe every CEO in general should know what budgeting is and how to effectively do it, or at least have a few different strategies that they can implement to help them with their budgeting. So when we jump into this article, it says budgeting, you know you should be doing it, but you probably aren't. Now why? Because it's really difficult to estimate accurately what your expenses will be every month. Just taking a peek at your statements and seeing where your money is actually going can be pretty scary, hence the creation of the 50-20-30 rule. This is one of the most popular budgeting techniques, but does it really work? Well, you might be questioning, asking, what is the 50-20-30 rule? The 50-20-30 rule is a money management technique that divides your paycheck into 3 different categories: 50% for essentials, 20% for savings, and 30% for everything else. 50% for essentials: rent and other housing costs, groceries, gas, etc. 20% for savings accounts, retirement contributions, loans, credit card payments, etc. And then 30% for everything else: non-essential expenses like your clothing, restaurants, monthly streaming subscriptions, and gyms, and all of those other good things that you guys might want to do on your own after work, after you put in those hours grinding, building your empire. Yeah, that's going to fall under that 30%. So if the 50-20-30 budget doesn't fit your lifestyle, try one of these other ideas instead. While it might be easy to remember, the rule isn't always easy to live by. The fact is, when it comes to expenses, one size doesn't fit all. For example, people living in cities like New York or San Francisco or here in Boston may need to spend almost their full paycheck on rent. If you freelance or run your own business, your income might be too irregular for such a hard and fast rule. And what happens when you have high student loan debt or low paying job? What do you do then? Well, the envelope system, visualizing your money, can help you be more aware of how you spend it. That's how the envelope system works. Take 3 to 5 envelopes and write what each one is for on the outside. The cash you put in these envelopes will need to cover both real-life purchases and online spending. Let's say you mark each of them grocery and dining, monthly bills, clothing, and miscellaneous shopping. You are only allowed to spend what's in the envelope for each of those categories each month. Round up each purchase the nearest dollar to help keep your envelopes from becoming messy change pockets. Instead, add that change to a separate savings account each month. However, the simplicity of this method can also be its downside. Having large amounts of cash laying around at home or on the go may not be the safest way to keep your money. It's also easy to cheat by taking money from one envelope and spending it in a different category. So the 80-20 plan might be for you. Where the 50-20-30 rule and the envelope system get complicated, the 80-20 plan gets simple. Instead of having to categorize every single expense into what is essential and what is not, you simply take 20% of your paycheck and deposit it directly into your savings account. The rest is yours to spend however you want. The trick for this plan is to set up automatic withdrawals that take 20% of each paycheck as soon as it hits your bank account, because that money is immediately placed into a separate savings account. It's like you never had it to spend in the first place. Better yet, set up a direct deposit. This means your employer will deposit 20% of your paycheck directly into a separate savings account and the rest into your checking account. And to elaborate on this, if you are self-employed and you have your money coming into your personal savings account, your personal checking account, another idea is to create a new separate business bank account. And yes, if you are self-employed, you can still get a business bank account. You'll have to get an EIN. I have videos on how to get an EIN. You might want to consider getting a trade name, a DBA with your city, which will allow you to, again, open up a business name under or business bank account under your business name, under your trade name, and it'll be legit. It'll be a real place that you can start building your business income, and then have your money go into that account instead of your personal account. And then when you implement one of these strategies, you can have that 20% or that 50%, whatever it is, be directly shifted over from your business bank account into your personal account. Now, it's obviously a little tricky, or could be a bit tricky, and I can create more videos diving into this if you are curious or interested in hearing more about kind of my process or strategy that I've done in the past when it was time for me to start my empire, start my businesses, and trying to separate the two, and really focus on improving my financial situation, which meant budgeting, which meant making sure I always covered all of my core expenses. And then when I do have money left over, what am I doing with that money? How am I spending it? Am I just going out shopping? Am I splurging, buying me new Jordans and Nikes? I know you see the Nike on. What are you doing with that money? Having a budget will help you with making sure all of your money is allocated to something that's important and something that you care about beforehand. Because when you don't have a plan, when you don't have a strategy, you kind of just have that money sitting there. And oftentimes, because it's not going towards something and it's just sitting there in your checking account, you're like, hey, I got extra money. It's not really extra. I mean, have you started your retirement? Things like that. Your Roth IRA or your traditional IRA, $6,000 a month is what we're allowed to contribute for most of us. Little things like that. Is that added into your budget? It might be something to consider. And as I mentioned, I'll try to potentially create a video diving more into some of these topics. If you guys are interested, if you would like me to, obviously comment down below. Let me know, what are you interested in hearing more about? Because there are so many different kind of strategies or ways that you can go about your budgeting process. But I just feel like it's so overlooked, not talked about enough. And it's part of the reason so many of us struggle with our money and being able to properly manage it. We get paid. Yeah, it might go right to your bills, and then whatever you got left, you're like, all right, let's hit the club. Is that the best thing to do? I mean, hey, to each his own. Enjoy life, have fun, but also consider you might be here for another 50 years. You might be here for another 75 years. Now, some of you might say, well, that's more of a reason for me to go and splurge and spend my money. I'll make more. Yeah, true. But compound interest is a beautiful thing. So when you get your money to work for you, and then that money can make its own money, now we're talking. That's the mindset you need to be, you gotta think. And of course, depending on your budget, maybe you're saying, hey, I just want to reinvest every dollar I get back into my business. More power to you, my friends. I applaud you for such thought process. However, that should be part of your budget then. So as you can see, everyone should create your own strategy, your own process, your own budgeting formula. Money management is so important. And as I mentioned a moment ago, there isn't a one size fits all solution. Everyone's different. Budgeting needs are different for everyone. That's why sometimes it's best to create your own. Start by calculating your monthly expenses. Check your bank statements to make sure you're jotting everything down. Mortgage or rent expenses are easy to remember, but we live in the age of subscriptions, and those streaming or gym expenses may filter through unnoticed. Once you know how much you spend, determine your monthly income after taxes. This is easy when you have a regular salary, but maybe a little harder to determine if you have a freelance job or get extra fund via side gigs, rental income, or interest. So a quick budgeting checklist, because I come from that self-employed, that irregular salary lifestyle world. And so I know it can be a bit challenging. However, when you know what your core monthly expenses are, which we can see with this quick budgeting checklist, there are 4 steps to it. And number 1 is calculate your expenses. Finally, set the amount of money you want to direct to savings to any payoff goals. Once you have all of these numbers down, you can decide where your money will go each month and what disposable income you can make use of. Now, it's important to keep track of expenses, save all of your cash payments, receipts, and compile them with your card statements at the end of the month. See if you're overspending in certain areas or if you have a few extra dollars to save. So after you calculate your steps, number 2 is determine your post-tax income. After that, set your payoff and savings goals. And then number 4, keep track of your expenses. Having these ideas, these 4 points that should be on your checklist, will help you with improving your financial situation. Financial literacy is incredibly important, and I believe, again, most of us will improve their situation just by budgeting alone. You actively, intentionally make an effort to understand all of your monthly expenses and understand all of your income and where that money is going. I think you'll be in a much better position in a year from now and a few years from now if you stay on track with whatever budgeting, assuming it's a good budgeting plan, but whatever budgeting strategy you decide to move forward with, as long as you have your money allocated to whatever it is you really want and focused on, then I don't think you can go wrong with this. Of course, you're going to need to maintain your income and continue to make money or improve your income, which will help you probably get to wherever it is you're trying to get much quicker. But again, you just need to start. And I hope this video helped you guys with getting some motivation, getting the ball moving in the right direction. It's going to be impossible, nearly impossible. It'll be incredibly hard to build your empire without a budgeting or money management strategy in place. And it can just be as simple as what we saw, something that is 80-20, an 80-20 rule, straightforward, right? 80-20 rule. So if you guys found this video helpful, definitely like this video. It does help me. It shows me you guys appreciate the time and energy I put into creating these videos. And it also allows me to see that this is something you guys care about, that you guys are focused on. And then obviously I'll dive even more into some of these money management and budgeting videos. Yeah, I know it can be tiresome. It can be tiresome, but again, you can do it. You can get from that point A, point B, if you work towards it, and budgeting will definitely help. We're all on our own financial independence journey, but hopefully with videos like this and with you implementing some of these teachings, strategies, you'll be able to not only improve your situation, but get to that financial independence stage and then eventually financial freedom. So on that note, I'm going to keep it moving. I definitely appreciate you guys watching this video with me today, spending some time learning about budgeting. It's not a exciting, fancy, flashy topic. Usually people want to, we're more interested in learning how to make money. No one really cares about what do we do with that money when we make it. Well, that's why I'm making this video, because it's so important. And I want to make sure someone's talking about it with you. We don't, for some reason, many of us here in America, I'm not going to single out any groups, anything like that, any race or anything, but for some reason, a lot of people, a lot of groups don't like to necessarily talk about money, aside from making money. But that budgeting side and managing your money is so important and so critical for, again, every business, any successful business, individuals as well. You got to have your money management and your budgeting down. And I hope this video helped you guys with being able to get a step and a better understanding on how you can go about doing so for your own personal situation. So on that note, I'm going to keep it moving, but as I mentioned, like this video. It helps me. It shows me you guys appreciate this content. And then subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date on the latest video content. But you already know. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.